What's poppin', ladies and gentlemen? You already know what time it is. Man, listen. This is another episode of The Main Office with your boy, Sean G. Shout out to everybody. You already know what time it is, man. We are back live and direct. Man, listen, I took a well-deserved vacation. All right, and a lot of people like, yo, man, you only got a couple, you ain't even get 20 episodes out there. You took a vacation already. Yes, I took a vacation because I can. Wow! You know what I'm saying? I took a nice little vacation because I can. Listen, this is The Main Office with your boy, Sean G. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's been a beautiful, wonderful, magnificent weekend for myself. How was everybody doing out there? It's been a little minute. All right, we've been on like I said, I've been on a 2-week vacation, just relaxing, shuffling and just chilling and, making moves at the same time, but at the same time, just getting my mind all the way relaxed and just enjoying myself for the last 2 weeks. All right, so we missed a lot of you. We are still here strong. I am constantly building and connecting with people to make and do a lot of great things up here on the network. All right, shout out to 1021fm.com. All right, and you already know today's show is being brought to you by Harbor Touch Provisions. All right, Harbor Touch Provisions. Ever since we have been promoting this credit card company, they have been getting a lot of calls just from the show alone. A lot of people are going over there who have been, watching the videos from Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. They're getting a ton load of emails and just calls. And people are doing deals. People are, who have businesses are calling them up, checking their credentials and making sure, of course, anytime you buy something, you're going to do the research first. And, people are checking them out. They official, top of the line, a very, very successful company. And we're sending them a lot of business from over here. So shout out to Harbor Touch Provisions, who continue to sponsor this situation right here at the main office with your boy Sean G and the partners and friends over there. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Also, today's show is being brought to you by 1021fm.com. All right, it's a beautiful thing, man. Great music, the People Station, continuous music that they're playing from the oldies, the goodies, and all that good stuff over there at 1021fm.com. I want to send a shout out to them as well. And also, if you're at work or you just on the road and you're in different places and you want to listen to a station that plays all of the great music that you love and you used to, without the commercials, 1021fm.com is the place to listen to a lot of good music. Man, there's so much going on. I just first want to say thank you to everybody who's been riding, man. Listen, I've a lot of people, I've run into people. Like I said, I've been on a vacation for 2 weeks, taking my time and relaxing. But I also get, chatters and people hit me up asking me what's up with the show, da-da-da-da-da. And, we've been putting out continuous content, nonstop content for the last 2 years. The last 2 years we've been grinding, man. I've put together numerous shows in a short period of time. And with just 1021 FM alone, we have created and been putting out continuous shows for the last 6 months. We're talking 4 different shows. Maybe 6 to 7 different time slots, 3-hour period time slots during the week, and also creating a whole new show with the main office with myself. And we are continuing to build and create other shows that I'm gonna be bringing to you very soon. So, we've been amazingly busy, I should say. I've been completely busy as far as media is concerned, as far as broadcasting is concerned, and as far as bringing great content to you via, social media, whether we on the radio broadcasting worldwide. I've been, really consistent in that area. So I kind of felt like it was kind of a little time for me to just take just a little break right when we just started to get going real live on the main event. The main office. I said, let me just take a little break because I'm going to hit them hard for the next year, all right, with continuous content. So it's a beautiful thing, but a lot has been going on since I left off, man. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said before, I think we left off episode. Today is episode 17. We left off at 16. And of course, I know a lot of you has, been hearing the stories about your boy Kanye West, out there doing all kind of stuff, saying kind of a whole bunch of crazy things. Of course, the Bill Cosby things, and just so much has been going on. Now you got your boy R. Kelly in the news, and just so much been going on in that area, and it's all black situations. It's all our own people who are being brought up in these conversations. Things are happening to people out there who are just going to, whether it's Starbucks or whether someone is going out to the Waffle House or just driving down the block or going to the grocery store. The news cycle is just continuous. It's on and on and on. And so I know a lot of you have, dropped your opinion about it, have talked about it over the weeks. And it seems like, things die down for a little bit and then they come right back up. A whole new wind of new stories are surface. But today, I want to talk to you guys about the black celebrity. Is the black celebrity dead? Is the black celebrity dying? For so long, us as black folk, all right, you got Bill Cosby, and just so many other people out there and stories. And for so long, us as black folk, coming from the history, coming from where we come from in history, in time, in our situation overall as a people, has been a rough journey, to say the least. Has been an extreme rough journey. And we live in a system, amongst a system that has not been completely fair overall, or just period in history. If we can look back from the beginning of time all the way up to now, there's still so much systematic racism that goes on that keeps us out, locks us out, in so many different ways. There's so many different codes and red lines and things that, things that people, just your everyday average person, don't even think about. But these systems and these created systems and racism and quiet racism and systematic racism works against them to affect them in their everyday lives. And, there's a lot of us who pay attention to it. And then there's a majority of us as people who just don't even know that is going on, but we are feeling the effects of it every day. And so today I want to kind of touch the question about black celebrity. Is the black celebrity dead? And it's a really interesting question because, all of us, we grew up watching Michael Jackson, listening to some of the greats before, watching the Cosby Show, listening to all of that, and and just having a certain image, those images that we saw as children growing up watching Bill Cosby, and or any other of the shows that came out back in those days, with the father that had children, with the nice house, and everybody was educated and well-rounded, and it just was a cozy feeling as a kid growing up watching the Cosby Show. I could imagine most of the young girls out there watching Bill Cosby on that particular show wanted Bill Cosby to be their dad, or wished Bill Cosby was their dad, because of the positive image that and just the bubbly and friendly and just the vibe of the show, that type of impact that it had on the kids growing up. Because it gave us a vision, something, to look forward to. A lot of women was able to go out there and look at that for what it's worth, growing up, and say, you know what, I want to go to college and get a education. A lot of our young men went out there and said, I want to go out, and get an education, And so it had its positive impact on a lot of black families, early on in the 80s. And so many other different things. Music, we grew up listening to a lot of music with your Michael Jackson. And just entertainment on the whole has been really significant in driving the bigger picture and driving that image of success. And a lot of us, looked at that and became successful because of it. Of course, parents are really important. Your moms and your dad being role models, big role models in your life. And also TV has been, entertainers, black entertainers, movie stars, music stars, celebrities in a whole has been, something that we all looked up to, and has been has played a real role in motivating and pushing us to the next level. So today's topic, I want to ask the question, is black celebrity dead? Has black celebrity put us in a place, or have it took a turn at some point in time to where now it's starting to affect us, or, it's blurring our vision because it's there's so much smoke out there. If you look up and you speed up time and you look at today, there's so many different things going on with those very celebrities that we used to look up to. Of course, going back to one of the main ones, talking Bill Cosby, legacy has been pretty much crushed. Now, I wouldn't say amongst our people, I don't think that's something that we look at as a black people, that his legacy is crushed, because, most people looking at it from the outside looking in would say, first off, they wanted to attack his legacy. They wanted to attack his legacy, take it from him, or whatever the case may be. All right. I was listening to a comedian who said something that made a lot of sense. He went on to say, listen, if you're going to attack his legacy and bring up all of these things on him, wouldn't it be fair to say that we should attack everyone's legacy? People who, the woman who lied on Emmett Till, who came out and said that she lied. We're not attacking her. We're not trying to put her in jail. And just so many different other people that's not of our race, that's not black folk, that come, from other different backgrounds. They've been in so many different things that have been caught in lies, and this stuff happened years ago. We could talk about slavery. We could talk about so many different other things that would say, if you're going to put this man on trial or lock this man up for stuff that he did 30, 40 years ago, why aren't the same things being done to those out there who deserve it, who we know who did it red-handedly, but ain't nothing being done to them? So, in one way, a lot of people are behind the fact that, yes, Bill Cosby did what he did, and a lot of people are behind the movement to get at him and to discipline him for the things that he did. And then for the most part, there are most of us who look at it like, it's just a legacy thing. They're trying to attack his legacy. They want to take that from him. A lot of people would say that he went out, ruffling the wrong feathers or shaking the wrong trees and trying to buy networks and things like that. And all of those things could be possible. It is what it is. We just know that it played out in the public the way that it ended up with him being convicted of these felonies. All right. So, today, if you fast forward the time again, today's topic is the black celebrity dead? Have we gotten to a point to where black celebrity has affected us in such a way that it has clouded us? We can't see clear anymore. We can't see the forest from the trees, as far as celebrity is concerned, with us believing in the hype of celebrity, believing in what celebrity can offer us, believing in what being rich and famous and what our celebrity can do for us in our lives. And is it safe to say that because it has put, people in a position where they're not looking at the real things, they're just looking at what it could be because of all of the celebrities, the lifestyle that they live in, the homes that they live in, the cars that they drive in, the money that's being reported that they are making, and all of these different things. And then you have these young, black kids growing up from all over America, or even all over the world, looking up to that, saying, I want to obtain that kind of fame, or I want to attain that kind of riches, but not really looking at it or knowing the truth behind the scene about some of the ugly and dark sides of the reality of their situations. So just, the other day, T.I., it was reported that T.I. owes a lot of cash, $4.4 million in unpaid taxes. And they said that he paid like $100 million, $1 million, and he owes so much more. And you could talk about that. We talk about Jay-Z is ducking the feds right now because they trying to get him to come and answer some questions about his situations and his involvement with some other company who he sold Rockefeller to and stuff like that. And it's just going on and on and on and on. We did a show on 1021 FM some months ago talking about the black celebrity being under attack in America. And I've heard it many a time from people, smart people, who have said it way before any of these things ever started to come out. And when you look at it for what it's worth, now all of these things are starting to come out. All of these things are starting to come out where one after the other. R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, T.I. I mean, just so many other people. So just to kind of keep it, under, where it should be and keep it in a place and keep it in the pocket and not get too crazy with it. When we think about these celebrities, man, we think about them in a way that, they are untouchable. All right. They got all the money in the world. There's no way that they could suffer. There's no way that they can go through anything when it comes to money and fame, because they got it all. And, when you start seeing these stories about them owing these people money and all this kind of stuff, you start to ask yourself a question. And if you're not asking yourself the question, you probably don't care, or you probably just looking past it. But then you have to ask yourself the question, how do they owe all this money when they have all this money? All right. And that's just one part of it. And, of course, his people are saying that they're going to take care of it. They're getting things put out there. But, let's just talk about, is that celebrity? Is it blinding us, man? And it's putting us in a position to where we're not looking at the reality of what's really popping, man, out here. You know what I'm saying? Is it putting us in a place where we feeling like, we got to go out here and hit the super home run and make $1 billion and then in return, or if we get an opportunity to make the $1 billion and in return, suffer for a long time because we don't have the $1 billion, but we got the $1 billion trouble. You dig what I'm saying? So, the question I want to ask y'all today, and I want y'all to jump in here, drop a comment below, and get into the conversation, and let me know how y'all feel about that in those areas, man. All right? Your boy Jay-Z, he's on a world tour right now, and there was a report in the New York Associated Press that Tuesday, when a New York judge sent out for Jay-Z for him to answer these questions from the Security Exchange Commission and financial probe of company he sold apparel business over a decade ago. U.S. Judge Paul Gerdefe didn't let lawyers do more than introduce their names into the records before ruling that the singer, whose birth name is Sean Carter, must answer to the SEC's question for a full day and maybe more. All right, so Jay-Z lawyers are trying to, he's on tour right now. His lawyers are trying to keep him out of the courtroom. Or if he have to come into the courtroom, they want him to be able to just come into the courtroom for one day and continue on to his world tour. But the judge is not buying it. The judge is like, nah. If he come in, when he has to come in here because we want him in here, and when he come in here, we not limiting it to no one day. He could be in here for as long as we want him to be up in here answering the questions that we want him to answer, right? So on one hand, you have, a lot of people are covering different stories in this area. Of black educated people who are pretty much against, I wouldn't say against, but kind of like speaking out about, the front end of these celebrities, you know, kind of. And in other words, they're talking in the sense like, yo, these cats ain't really got the money that they portraying that they have. All right. You know, Jigga Man, you know, they said that he sold the Barclays Center, his share, for like $1 million or something like that. All right. You know, T.I., he owed, you know, he only paid $1 million. He owes another $3 million. All right. So you start to ask yourself these questions, man. You know, just the other day, your girl Little Kim, she has a mansion that just went out on the market. Little Kim, New Jersey mansion up for auction, with a starting bid of $100. All right, so Little Kim, the royalty Little Kim, is finally out from underneath the mansion in Alpine, New Jersey. That she lived there for years. You know, going through litigations and drama, falling into foreclosure in 2010. The sprawling home is up for auction, and the starting bid on the Queensbee Farm Estate is a measly $100. All right, $100. So, you know, is it, you know, is it like a, you know, because you got to look at these things. You know, these are artists who have been in the game for a long time. You know, the Sean Carters, the Sean Combs. You know, they've been making money for a very long time. And you know, 20 years in the game. And, you know, it's just, and they are pretty much at the top. Like, they're the guys that you see at the top that stays in the light. All right. You know, you got so many different moguls out there. You know, you got your Dr. Dre's, you have your Birds, you know, your baby Birdmans, and, you know, just so many different executives, you know, guys who made millions. I mean, really wealthy people in entertainment, but you don't see them in a light like that. You know, they kind of, you know of them. You've seen the work that they've put out there. You know that they major in the game, but you don't see them in the light. You know, but Sean Carter and you know, Jay-Z and P-Diddy, these are people you continuous to see in the light on a consistent basis. So, you know, is the black celebrity dead? Is the you know, the curtain, the veil pulled out? Is the cover blown on the real situation of these people's finances? Or is this just another attack to take down the people who's been holding these positions for so long? All right. And if that's the case, what else is going to come out here? Because once these people are removed from the limelight, from the idea of being the top, you know, because they already got Bill Cosby. He's already looking crazy. You know, they already went after Michael Jackson, God bless the dead, when he was living, Prince, and all these different people. You know, do we believe that that's the case? Or is it, you know, or is it just, you know, these people are just human beings going through the ups and downs of life? You know, they did it. They done it in ways, and made money and lived the lifestyle that only people dream of, that never get there, but they just, you know, but these people they was really in it. Is it a case of them just, you know, being human at the top and falling short? Or, you know, it's one thing to make it, and then it's a whole nother thing to maintain and keep it. You understand what I'm saying? Or is it just, yo, these people are just being exposed because of their celebrity, you know, because they black celebrities, or they just mismanaging? I mean, it's so many different questions to ask here. When you look at and you start to hear about some of these stories surfacing around some of our biggest celebrities. All right, Sean Combs, Revolt Media, TV lays off a third of its staff, restructuring. All right, and this report came out as well. Sean Combs Revolt is downsizing in an effort to reallocate resources and expand the scope of its content production operation. The company that operates the music-centric Revolt TV linear cable channel is laying off 50 employees, or about 1/3 of its staff, across offices in New York and Los Angeles. All right, the plan is to reorient the content production operation to deliver a broader range of short-form and long-form content encompassing lifestyle and culture, fashion, art, comedy, social justice, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, we know in business, for all you business people out there, when you downsize, it's always about money. It's always about, you know, money just being thrown out, and you losing money as a business. So you have to downsize. All right. So, one could look at that as, they don't have the money to pay 50 employees, or one could look at it like we can save money, and do, kind of, restructure and just do a better job at what we doing up here. All right. Because, TV is something different. We know P-Diddy is somebody who's always been about making music and, being great at making hits and building artists and, having this trouble with artists and all that kind of stuff. But, TV is something that, of course, he's the face of it. We don't know if he own it exclusively. All right, that's a whole nother thing with a lot of black celebrities. We come to find out that later on, or maybe 5 years later, we find out that they don't own the product that they out there selling or pushing. We find out that, in the beginning, they sell it as a black-owned situation, and we as black people are pumped up and hype about, the fact that they oh, man, Jay-Z own this, or oh, man, Sean Combs own that. And then later on, we find out that there are other people who really own a company, and they just the front man or the face to sell a product. All right. So, I mean, so many different people can come from so many different angles and talk about how bad this is, or how bad it look, or how bad it really is. And the proof, and like I said, a lot of these things are just coming out. It could be social media, because we are able to see so much, and so many people are just putting the business out there in so many different ways. Now, one thing I could say personally, from my opinion, is, these people are very much human, just like anybody else. All right, just like anybody else on the low end, who ain't on these levels, haven't seen these levels, haven't made it to these levels, they're gonna go through ups and downs. You dig what I'm saying? So, why T.I. can't pay $4 or $5 million? I mean, $4 or $5 million is a lot of money. All right, and we probably would think, that's T.I., that's the hustle man. He got that. They talking about driving $1 million cars and living in $1 million homes, and So for your average, young kids out there, they believe that these people really have this kind of money at hand, like they are liquid. They can go get hard cash or hard money or whatever you want to call it to go and put up for anything that they owe. Or their business is structured in a way that they are able to just go out there and make, take care of those things as they moving along. All right. So, y'all let me know what y'all think. Is it just a case of front and a lot of smoke and mirrors? Cats really don't have the money that we think they have. Is it an attack on a black celebrity? Is the black celebrity is under a form of attack to expose and discredit and extract and take away to push them out for something else, or a whole new movement? Because as we look up, every 10 years, it's a whole new movement out here. Different things and everything. So what's really going on is the question, man. All right. And also, is the black celebrity, has it hurt us as a people for so long? Now more than ever, you hear a lot of people talking about Oprah Winfrey not really being a billionaire. And I know a lot of y'all heard that story. I've read that or heard somebody talk about that. Do we really think Oprah Winfrey is not really a billionaire like it has been said that she is? Is this another trick to keep people off the guard, off focus? To keep these people propped up so that us as a people don't look at other areas of importance, like politics and education, or other things, or unity, and just other areas that keep us, that's gonna really make a difference in our existence in this new world that we living in. Is celebrity, what celebrity? Did we miss something? What celebrity used as that thing? All right, you get smarter as a people, so we throw something else in your face to keep you focused on that, so you don't move forward as a people. Do we really believe that? Or is this just a case of these celebrities going through something like everybody else? Them being, exposed as being human beings. Like, listen, they hot, they 20 years, that's a long time. Making millions and millions and millions of dollars for 20, 30, 40 years, it's not something easy to maintain. And we talking about people who came from nothing. P-Diddy came from nothing. Jay-Z broke as a joke. All right, Little Kim, forget about it. All right, and the list goes on. Every last one of these celebrities that we talk about who've been through it, these people are not coming from generational wealth. Being a part of industries and things that go back, stretch back into generations and generations and generations. These are people who have built companies pretty much on their own, who were broke at one point and got involved as individuals or with a team, a collective effort to build empires and to make something heavier themselves. So how long can someone like a Jay-Z, who doesn't have generational wealth, hold on to all of that wealth, to just only his wealth, not nobody else, not the backing of family who are great, who have a generational wealth, but to build something from scratch, to get it to a certain level to where he's worth a certain amount, realistically or not, but just even being close to the number that they reporting or whatever. How long can he himself, if he's just the only one in his family or down in his generations of his family line, if he's just the only one to hold that up? And I think that, also, if people are going to say that, is the black celebrity dead, and we're going to talk about, the smoke and mirrors and all these kind of things, and, and talk about things in that area, we also got to look at it from the angle of, these are people who have made it to a level, on the highest level of success, and have touched a lot of money that nobody else in their family has touched. So, it must be difficult, if when Rockefeller was hot, and when everything that P-Diddy Combs was doing was hot, to say, yeah, that's when the money was really, really good. And, when you move on and start getting into other things, the money is great or whatever the case may be. But there is some time when that hotness cools off, and, you try to stay relevant as far as your money is concerned. But maybe the things that they involved in now is not the same amount of money that they used to make when they was popping in the 90s. So I think on one hand, we can look at some legitimacy here about, the black celebrity fronting and, people, all these different things, if from other angles. But then we also got to look at the fact that these are people who created wealth, and they was the only one in their family who ever did it. So it's not like other cultures, other races of people who are living off of generational wealth, as well as building their own careers and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm kind of looking at it and respecting it for what it's worth. I'm asking some of the same questions that other people are asking. But I'm also, as I start to talk, I'm starting to think about it a little bit more, that yes, P-Diddy, Jay-Z and T.I. and Little Kim and all these people, these celebrities who are in financial trouble. Yeah, there is a real thing where you go up and you go down, or these cats are just on a decline because they've been holding on for so long, and the money that they used to make, they no longer make it no more. And so it looks bad. It's starting to look bad because some of these stories and some of the things that's affecting them behind the scenes is no longer hitting, is coming out to the public. So I think, on one hand, I'm going to ask the question, and I want y'all to chime in and let me know what y'all think. Do you think the black celebrity is dead? Has it hurt us as a people to put, these people up, on a level to where it has so many of our youngsters, so many of us chasing a certain dream or chasing a certain fame and fortune, only to realize that only a few can really make that really happen in their life? And that only to find out that these same people are also going through extreme financial woes in their current situation. So it's something to question. I think for me personally, I see it from a couple different angles. All right. Again, we're not dealing with, as a people, we're not dealing with generational wealth. All right, we can't go back generations and generations and deal with old money like other races on planet Earth. We can't do that. But what we can do as individuals come together as a family, collective, or whatever, is try to build something and try to pass it down on and see if they can take it to next levels. If the people in our family are willing to do it, if the youngsters coming up are willing to do it, and if that's what they, even want to do. But as we look at history has taught us that, some of the richest families in America reach way back in time. You dig? And I'm sure there are so many millionaires and billionaires that are popping up every year, or whatever the case may be. And we live in a time where, you can be broke today and tomorrow you can be very, very wealthy because the resources and the tools and things are there. And then we also have to look at what is wealth. What is wealth? Like, what does that really mean? We really got to really question and look at the real meaning of what wealth is. What does wealth mean to you? What does wealth really mean on paper? All right. Has black folks ever experienced wealth here in America? And I think when you think about that, when you start looking at some of our top celebrities like your Sean Combs, your Jay-Z's, your T.I.'s, and anybody else, when we start looking at them going through these small problems when it comes to wealth in America and the money that a lot of these families have, the problems that they have it starts to look embarrassing, because people who deal with real wealth, these are small numbers that these people can't handle, that we consider extreme celebrity on that next level. So then we really have to look at it and start to begin to look at the reality of as a people, what wealth is really all about, because we never knew it, even though we look at the celebrities who really fought, and I got to give them a round of applause for just fighting, because it's come on, it's stacked up against you. I got to give them a round of applause for just fighting, right? Because if you look back in time, it ain't a lot of people who have gotten to certain levels overall. All right. Not a lot of people. It's a small number of people who even got to any kind of level when you start to look at it for what it's worth, let alone talk about wealth. So these are all individual efforts, and they have done all they can do. And now they are in a place where they got to keep it up. And for some of them, I'm sure they probably said, listen, man, I did it. All right. If I could just, invest in something and pay myself or be paid a certain amount of money, I'm happy with that. My celebrity is way up there. My fame is way up there. What I've done in the business that I was in, I was at the top of my game. You can't take that away. And that's what it is, and hopefully the children or whatever can build on and keep the legacy going. But from what we looking at, that don't seem to be the case. And it just shows you how hard it is, how hard it really is for us as a people when we dealing with generational wealth in America. It's not an easy task. So like I said, I would like to just congratulate any one of these people who are going through the situation, because they fought to even make a difference. So before I really take away from what they can't do or what they can't produce or what they owe and all this kind of stuff, I got to just give them their props for even getting to a level or taking a chance and going out and racing to get there in the first place. All right. And that's just one part. But now as a people, I really think that it's just so many different things that's wrong in so many different areas. It would take it would take probably a lifetime of hours of show to really unpack everything when we start talking about this and looking into this situation that's going on. But again, they are human. And the question I'm asking y'all, join the conversation. All right, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Is the black celebrity dead? Is the jig up? All right, is the jig up? Is the jig up? Are we gonna start seeing in the next 5 years that and finding out more and more and more these celebrities are broke? They got the bling, they got the flash, whatever, but they broke. And then when that happens, what do we do now as a people? Like what do we start to look up to? Like, you know what I mean? What's happening here? Because it is a change taking place. Change take place every 10 years. There's a shift. There's a shuffle. Every 10 years, regardless of how, if you like it or not, every 10 years there's a shift on this planet in energy and things that's going on. And it ain't going to be the same. So what do we think here? Is it good? I mean, has it hurt us? Has it set us back in time? Because I remember growing up back in the days, and so many of you listening and watching, the drug dealer used to be the dude, in the 70s. He used to be the man when it comes to the black community. It wasn't so much celebrity was put on a pedestal, but it was all about the hustler in the hood that was making all the money and doing all the great things and driving all the fancy cars and all that stuff. But speed up time through the 80s and 90s, then celebrities and entertainment and music has been what we, we started to look at that because it was like, okay, now you don't have to do some of the things that these guys were doing who were famous and was rich, I guess what you want to call rich. But those guys got football numbers. Those guys all got put away. Those guys all died behind the choices that they made for saying, listen, I'd rather go out and have something and make something than live a life, in poverty. So whatever the case may be, but we know when we look at it from what's right and what's wrong, from a system understanding, for them, they saying, look, it's wrong because we are the shit is already stacked up against us, period. So I might as well go ahead and do something instead of laying down and not doing nothing. So, it's so many ways we can look at that. That was what we looked at in the 70s and the 80s. Those guys doing it, making money, coming up, doing their thing. Then in the 90s and on, celebrities and music stars and stuff started popping up. People started to become legit businessmen. And start to really taking it to levels, MTV going up in cribs and all this kind of stuff. And I read an article today, I was laughing, that said that your man Redman was y'all remember Redman when he was doing MTV cribs? He wow! They went up in his crib and he was like, man, I ain't shit, nigga. I ain't got no lies, nigga. My shit, I got a regular room. Nigga, my carpet, I got some, the shit was funny, but he was keeping it real. And then come to find out, speed up time to now, we found out that all of the cribs that the celebrities were showing on MTV Cribs back in the days, it wasn't their house. Dame Dash talk a lot about back in the day. And let me tell you something, Damon Dash is a brother. If you want to listen to somebody who was there, you really want to listen to Damon Dash. People really give him a hard time with a lot of the shit he talk about or whatever. But Dame Dash is probably one of the smartest, if anybody should listen to anybody, Dame Dash is the person that everybody should be listening to. Because he was telling y'all what they was doing and trying to do to people for a long time. And all of the things that he talked about back then is happening today. All of the things that he was trying to fight against, because he said, nah, yo, we gotta do it. We can't be giving them our intellectual property and putting them ahead of us. We gotta do it. All of that shit that they talking, we got the money, we could do it for ourselves. Why are we making deals and doing deals with them, doing slave deals with these people, and they ain't even giving us nothing in return? So he was talking about all these things back in the day. So I gotta give Dame a lot of props, because he talked about this. Rockefeller, him saying, yo, it was all about a formula. We had to look rich to get rich. Our job was to make the people think we had more than what we really had, so that the people can in return give us what they thought we had. If that makes sense. All right. So, and then at the same time, I'm saying that, but when I really think about it, it's a sad concept. Because, we still, we got to trick our people into showing them something that we don't have for them to give us what we trying to get or what we trying to have. So we got to a point, our people are so, messed up in the way we think is, oh, nigga, I ain't going to give you no chance, or I'm not going to follow you or support you until you show me you got something. So, I don't know. It could be like that in every race. It could be like that, amongst all people. But we know for sure it's like that, because, the saying is, in business, perception is reality. Right? So that could just be a rule. That could just be a rule across the board. But, are we being honest about the situation that we in as far as, a community a whole? Because, up until this point, all we see is individual efforts. And can you blame individuals for making efforts? No, you can't. Because before you can blame individual efforts, you have to look at a whole damn people and say, y'all a bunch of sorry. We are all some sorry motherfuckers. Because we only could send out individuals to go accomplish when we a whole body of people. That's something that we really got to think about. We are a whole body of people, but we got to send individuals out. All right, we all tired. Just go on. You can do it. We sending individuals out instead of us as a people. And people like to talk about and kind of draw some type of connection between what happened with the Jews and the black folks. The Jews went through their reality and the stuff. It was noted and documented in history. They went through what they went through. But what they did as a people was they didn't. It wasn't individual efforts. They just came together as a people going forward. Strategically putting themselves in positions to keep they agenda and efforts moving forward. So they was real about the situation that they was in. I think us as black Americans, we had so many opportunities in the history of time to do these things, but I think every chance we got to sell out or to give away or to say, what, it's about me and mine, we took that opportunity every time. So I got to give my props to these brothers who took individuals who got sent out from a people and made individual efforts and did it. But now, because they don't have the generational backing of industry and capital and money, this is why these things are being exposed. Because now these people are out there. They can't turn back to their people. Well, maybe they could if they went to ask, right? If they probably ask, because there's somebody out there that can help them in a situation, or whatever. But you can't turn back to your people now. You have to turn to somebody else of a different race. Because that's who put you on the level you on already. You understand what I'm saying? So I think, us as a people can't talk, we can't say shit to those guys who going through it. They just like everybody else going through whatever financial woes at the time they going through, regardless of celebrity or whatever, it doesn't matter. You're going to make as much as money as you can when you can. There's going to be times when you're going to make more money than you made before, and there's going to be times when your money going to be fucked up. And it's just that simple. And you're going to go through financial situations, especially if you're trying to be somebody. Now, if you ain't trying to be nobody, then you ain't going to have to deal with none of the problems or have any of these things come up against you. Right? And who really want to live like that? So I think, again, some things come to me as I go on, as I start to talk about it. I got to give these brothers, and the question is the black celebrity dead? Is it dead? I mean, you answer the question. You tell me what you think. Is it dead? It is what it is. I think that form of celebrity, the jig is up. All right, I won't say it's dead because again, it's a different time. It's a different tool that's in play. All right, with all that's going on, technology is a change, And there are young kids out here that's tapping into the energy that's going to be doing great things. And in another 20, 30 years, those technology kids that's tapping into great things and building companies that's going to become successful, whether they make themselves famous or whether they just be behind the scenes rich, they eventually, when change take place in their game, eventually you'll hear things about them going through stuff because the game is changing and because it's harder to sustain that you get. All right. So I think, is it dead? I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I won't say it's dead. I just think that, the guys who've been there for so long, they did it. They had their time. And again, it's not like you can turn back to a generation behind you to keep you up. You can't. It's not there. So on one hand, a lot of you have people talking about this, covering this story, talking about that. But on the next hand, there's really no solution. So if you ain't got no solution to what you do now, and you just trying to feed off of giving the story and putting it out there to get the attention and have everybody come on social media, yeah, you're right. That's sad. That's all you got. Then to me, I think you full of shit, to be honest with you. Whether you a Harvard graduate, a black person doing this or doing that, and you just trying to put these people down because they actually went out there and did it and they got a lot more fame and made a lot more money than you. I think, hey, tough luck. Because when you look at it from a people standpoint, whatever your expertise is, you get behind these people who have certain energy. If that's the case, if you're an accountant and you went to school or you went to Harvard and you went to college and you got an education, but you don't have the energy to go out there and tackle these vultures and deal in this business world and be heavy, then you let somebody else go out there and you be behind them with your expertise to make sure that they don't get shorted or get deaded in the area that other people are gonna try to cheat them in. If you ask me, because if anybody else in most cultures, that's what they do. They got people in every area, politics, business areas, lawyers, all this stuff that they can go to. That's their own people to back them and help them in areas that they need to be helped in, and give them honest and, show them all the tricks and all the rules to the game. So, like I said, my thought on it, is it dead? It may be dying for some people, but there's going to be another game of celebrity that's going to show up and move forward on that. So on that note, you already know what time it is, man. It's just your boy Sean G. Listen, join the conversation. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think, because it's a really interesting topic. Smoke and mirrors. A lot of smoke out there. A lot of fire burning. Right? That's life. Shit, that's life. You show me anybody, who ain't been through some shit. Who ain't go through the ups and go through the downs. You show me. You can't find nobody. The Bible said, he said, man, any of y'all out there who ain't got no sin, cast the first stone. And everybody walked away. So you can't say shit. Whether you an educated person, whether you ain't an educated person, you can't say a goddamn thing about any of these people in a negative tone. But what you can say is, listen, they going through it just like anybody else. However, I will give them their props for at least trying and making something. But I can't take them off the hook, because now when these things are starting to come out, once again, we start realizing what we should have done and what we should be really doing. And I think the moral of this whole thing is, whether it hurt us or set us back some years as far as the people, it may have, it may not. But again, if everybody need motivation in some sense, right? So if what's motivating you? Is college motivating you? What's out there that's motivating you? And so if it's a positive thing, if Bill Cosby motivated you to go to college and get a college degree, that's a good look. If P-Diddy, Sean Combs motivated you to become a businessman and make a lot of money, that's a good look. All right? But if somebody's motivating you to become nothing and to do nothing and be nothing and have nothing, then to me, I think that's the ultimate disrespect, or that's the ultimate not something that you don't want to be, all right, or something that you don't want to look up to. So we still have to have something to look up to. Now, a lot of people may say, you know, those aren't the right people to look up to. You know, I agree. All right, but you could take a little bit from everywhere, as long as if it's positive. You could take a little bit from the energy of the celebrity. You could take a little bit from the energy of the educators out there. All right, the scholars out there, the smart people out there. You know, you could take a little bit from everybody and win and be where you need to be. But I think us as a people in a whole have to look at this, you know, and just start making better decisions. All right, because it's an individual effort going on everywhere you look. It's individuals trying to do this and trying to do that, and then it's individuals talking this and talking that when other individuals are getting caught up in situations. So again, you know, it just, to me, the message here is we need to stick together. We need to come together as a whole with all of our expertise and start helping each other as a whole, period, as a people. And being strictly about us and not wavering that understanding and stand on code, saying, look, I'm a professional. I'm going to make sure my brother don't fall. I'm going to help him in those areas. And I think that's the way we should be going. All right. And on that note, I'm going to leave y'all with that. This your boy, Sean G. You already know the main office. Drop a comment below. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that follow button for all you on these different social media platforms. And I'll see y'all Thursday night. Peace and love to the family. We out. Peace.